So we have covered until as in just introduction until maps. So today first topic was to start with the environment variable setup. So that was already completed, right? Both of you are done with that, and
Yes.
no confusion in that, right? Yeah. Second topic was about Java. The basics of Java you are aware, right? What is Java and how it all started, uh, what all Java versions we have, and in how many flavors it is there, right? So that also was discussed in last couple of sessions. The next one was about Java uses, right? So that also we discussed in detail. Next one was Java syntax. So that also we covered, right? In detail here, somewhere here, syntax part, yeah. Any confusion in this, in Java syntax part?
No, not yet.
No.
Okay, fine. All right, so let me just open the topics which I shared with you over the email also. So for tomorrow, guys, are you flexible with the time? Because I have a release today night, right? So that will happen in some Chinese hour. Right. So tomorrow morning would be a bit busy for me. So is it okay if we take the class in tomorrow afternoon session?
After like 3 to 5?
Yeah, 3 to
The
5.
last.
Yeah, 3 to 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Okay. Okay. So I'll confirm you. I mean, it's not like when we will take that class in 3 to 5 session only, but just I'm just giving you a heads up.
Yep.
Sure.
So until here it is fine. Now coming to Java program hierarchy. So that is the topic we will start off with today. Java program hierarchy. So as in Eclipse also I told in the last session. So this is the project, right? Selenium batch is a project. Beneath that we have this is package basics. Basics is a package. Okay. Let me just draw it. So this is project. This is package, and beneath this we can have multiple classes. .java class, right? So likewise, we can have multiple classes in a package, or we can have multiple packages, right? So this is a basic Java program hierarchy, right? So you are aware of how to create a project, how to create a package, how to create a classes, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now coming to the Java program structure. So basically that starts with documentation. So once we create a class, you can see the class in Eclipse here, right? So on top of the class, there is a name of the package, right? So what is currently you are working on which package? So that will display a package space the name of the package. Now the class will start with public class followed by the class name, right? So before that we do have documentation section also in our real programming, wherein we write the name of the program here. Let's say I want to write or maybe I want to display sum of first 100 natural numbers. So it gives an idea to the user or to the programmer that what exactly I am trying to achieve in this program, right? So this is called the documentation section. So basically documentation section as in number 1, so it includes the comments to tell the program's purpose. It improves the readability of the program. One second. Issue. Okay, so that's the documentation section. Second one is package statement. So it is mandatory. Documentation section is mandatory. It's not mandatory. You can have it or you cannot. Even if you don't want, you should not have it also. But package statement is mandatory, right? So it includes the statement that provides a package declaration. So at the beginning of every program, we see that there is an info about the package space and then name of the package. Just a minute. Next one is import statement. So again, it is optional based on the program requirement, basically. So I think as of now, we have not come across any import statement. So let me just give you an example. Let's say I'm trying to work on a list, string, let's say linked list equal to new array list. Right. So Java will give you an error here that you are using list here, but you have not imported this. So I will have to import list from java.util package. Right. So once I import that, you will see the error is gone. Similarly, for array list also, I will have to import that from java.util package. So these are called import statements. It will come under your package declaration. Right. So import statement, that is again on your program requirement only. If I do not have any program requirement, then I don't have to put any import statement. But if there is a requirement, I will have to import those from already defined methods or already defined classes. So import statements basically are predefined and built in nature, right? And you will have to import libraries and external features.
So just one question here, Nitin.
Yeah.
Java.util.list, that is what? That is the utility or the library or what? I mean,
So this is a package.
this is a package.
This is
Okay.
a package, and this package we have this class, list class, or list is an
List
interface
class.
basically. So within this package we have this list interface.
Okay, list interface and array list as well.
Array list is a class.
Array list is okay.
Array list is a class, list is an interface. So this we have in java.util package.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So we import the packages that would have the classes or the predefined utilities basically.
Predefined utilities, yeah, that's already there in Java jar. So that we have to import. So when we can use the features directly from the list or array list, right? So if I import that, and then if I try to use list dot add, I can use that directly.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So import statement, it is optional based on your program requirement. So those are already defined, as in these are predefined and built-in features. Right. So we import that using import keyword. So that's how it starts. So that's a keyword. Import is a keyword. So it starts with import, followed by package, followed by as in project, then package, and then class or interface. So if I just take the example here, so import Java util array list. Import as in coming directly, right? Java is a project. Util is a utility. You can say as a package also. So that's a package. Array list is a class. So that's how the hierarchy of import statement is. Yeah. So, and if I want to import all the interfaces or all the classes from this utility package, I can just type directly here star also. So that also works. Just input this and then it's okay. It's all done. So all of the classes and files or the interfaces you have imported from java.util package. Making sense?
But what is the best practice? Should we use all, like star, or specifically mention?
So let's say I am using couple of more collections here. I am using list also, set also. I am using array list also, hash set also, tree set also. So if I have multiple classes to import within a program, then it's better to use dot star, right?
Okay.
So it will not increase the line of, I mean, it will not increase the line of your program.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's completely on your need, right? If you have only one or two line to import, two classes to import, then you can directly import those classes. So this is again another nomenclature we can use directly also. So since we are having the smart editors nowadays, Eclipse or IntelliJ IDE, so they give you the error here. If some class needs to be imported, they give you the error here that you need to import this class or this interface. Okay, making sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next one is the class definition, right? So once we are done with the import statement, then the definition of the class starts. So that is a mandatory again, right? I mean, we cannot skip class definition. Right. So example as in, it's an example public class name. Right. So class name should be in uppercase, as we have discussed earlier also. It should be in uppercase, followed by two curly braces, opening and closing curly braces. So this is the example of class. Right. Similarly, we can have interfaces also. So we'll see interfaces also going forward. So so instead of class, we can have interface, public interface, and then interface name. Right. So again, this starts with curly braces and ends with the curly braces, closing curly braces. The difference between class and interface is that interfaces has only the method declaration. So public void method name, just done. Public void sum, done. But classes should have method declaration as well as method body. Public void add, and you need to have the method body also. You cannot have just a method declaration. Okay, so that's the difference between interface and abstract and a class. Hi, Sitara.
Anything.
Okay, so let Disha join.
Yeah, this is in.
Okay. All right. So you understood the difference between class and interface? So what is the class? What is the interface?
Can you repeat that again, please?
Okay. So in a similar fashion, like we are having a classes, we can have interface also, right?
Mhm.
In class, we need to declare a method and we need to write the method body also, right? But in interface, we should have only the method declaration. There is no method body.
Okay.
Okay. So interface as in there is no I mean, we are not having any method body. So that's called 100% abstraction. We'll discuss that in detail once we start with the OOPS concept. So here what I'm just trying to explain is that in a similar way as we are having public class name, we can have public interface name also. And from Eclipse, if you are trying to create an interface here, I can do that also. So just go to package, new, and then instead of class, just write interface. So let's say I am having one interface. So basic interface. So see, it is not asking you to check any public static void main. So if I click here, I have one interface. So this says public interface basics. And if I declare any method here with method body, so let's say public add. And if I try to have the method body here, it will give you a warning or error. That abstract method do not specify a body.
Okay, understood.
Understanding? Yeah. So I should have this only, right? Only method declaration, no method body in interface. What is this background noise, Disha?
Sorry, chopping of words.
Okay, okay,
I'll just go on.
okay. So if required, just unmute yourself. Otherwise, please be on mute.
Sure.
Okay. Next one is main method. Right after the class declaration, we have a main method. So make execution of a Java program starts with main method. So public static void main, and then we have strings args, right? So it starts with public static void main, followed by we are passing a string parameter here. Okay. So public is a modifier. Public is a access modifier. Static is non-access modifier. Void means it returns nothing. It returns null. So we since the main method does not return anything, that's why we write here is void, nothing or null. Main is a method name. Yeah, and this is the argument which we are passing. So this is a kind of a default argument which Java gives, which we have to pass with the main method. So this is a default argument which we need to pass with the main method. Yeah, so that's about the main method declaration. Then we have variable and constants after the declaration of main method. 7 is variable and constants. Right, so you are aware of how to declare a variable, right? Int a equal to
Yes.
100, right? So if I need to make some variable as in constant, how will I do that? Using final keyword, int b equal to 100. Now if I declare this variable with final keyword, you cannot change this the value of b, so this will become constant. So let me just take the example here. Final int b equal to 100, right? So I have declared a variable b with value 100 and with final keyword. Now if I try to reassign b to some different value, it will give you error. You cannot change the value of b. The final local variable cannot be assigned, it must be blank and not using a compound statement. So because of final, it became a constant, right?
Okay.
Okay. After a variable declaration, we have some other normal statements, right? So if I want to perform some operations like int a, int c equal to a plus b, or system.out.println, so those are also the normal statements, right? So in system.out.println, followed by something in double quotes. System is a class, out is a object, println is a method. Okay, and whatever we are writing in double quotes, that's a message. So let's say I'm trying to write hello here. This is a message. Is it okay?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Next is when we can have some code blocks also in terms of some conditional statements or loops or some methods, etc. So those will be followed by normal statements, right? The next one is object creation. Once we are done with all that, we can have some object creation statements also within the main method. So object creation, as I told earlier also, so that start with class name followed by object name, or maybe object reference equal to new class name. So new is a keyword here, and this is a class name which is already given initially, and this is the user defined name, right? So it's not necessary to create an object at the last of the main method only. At the end of the main method, you can create the object at the beginning of the main method or at the end of the method, main method, based on your requirement. And it's not like when we should create the object only within the main method. We can create object outside of the main method also. So there is no such a standard to create object only within the main method. So let's say I am trying to create the object of this class. Or maybe I can have that in separate class also. So that's completely up to your wish. I'm not sure whether it will allow here because we are outside of the main method. So either I will have to have some method here. So let's say public void object declaration. So demo d equal to new demo. Yeah. So I can have within main method also and outside main method also within a other method. So object declaration can be within main method, outside main method, or it can be anywhere within a main method. Okay.
Nitin, can you go back to the screen?
Yeah.
Code, I mean, yeah. So, can you explain that again?
Yeah. So what I was
Object creation. Yeah.
object creation can be within main method, as in I can create object here also at the beginning of the main method. Let's say a demo d1 equal to new demo. That's the beginning of the main method. Next could be at the end of the main method also. You can just create an object demo d2 equal to new demo. And if we do not want any object creation within a main method, we can have it outside main method also in another method. So I created another method here, and in that I am having the object creation.
Okay. But execution will start in the main method only, right?
Yeah, so you will have to call this method.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
You have to call this method, then object will be created, and then constructor will be called, and then followed by other method calling, right? So that's the flow. You will have to connect this object with the this method with this method. Execution will always start from here and it will end here.
Yeah.
So by default, Java will not come to this method and will check if Java needs to create any object or something. I need to call this object first, call this method first, then only this object will be created.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. Next one is yeah. So syntax for this is class name object name equal to new class name. So class name object name equal to new class, and this is a syntax for object creation. Now Java simple program, we have already seen lots of programs, so I don't have to give you any specific program. Now coming to the next topic, Java comment section. So Java comment section, anything else required? So we have two types of comment. One is single line followed by double forward slash. First is single line. Second one is multi-line comment. So that start with forward slash star, then star forward slash. So that's basically makes your program a code readable, and again it disables the program from the execution, or the code from the execution. So there are two methods: single line or double line, multi-line. And in Eclipse we can have it directly also. Let's say I want to do this, these I want to comment these lines. So if I go to source here, you can just type toggle comment Control 7 and it will comment everything within this. If I need to uncomment this, just select all, go to source, toggle comment, everything will be uncommented. So this is a shortcut. Or from keyboard, what we can do, just Control 7, everything will be commented. Again Control 7, everything will be uncommented. Okay, and for multi-line command we can use add comment, add just block command. So this will be like multi-line commenting. Okay,
Okay, understood.
so you can just make a note of this. Just you have to go to source, then toggle command. For single line command, add block command, remove block command for multi-line command. Okay, the uses of commands in test scripts is when we can use of the when we can make the use of the comment in test script for writing the test case header. As in the heading of what is the test case heading or the summary of a test case. For a method, we can just write the method header. The next one can be a whenever we are writing the complex logic using the comments, we can just explain what is that complex logic all about. Explaining the complex logic. Yeah. So basically, the Java comments, I mean, we do have two types of comments: single line comment, multi-line comment. And based on your need, you should use that commenting feature, either for documentation purpose, like what is that program all about, or whenever you are having any complex logic within a program, you should mention using the commenting section that what is that complex logic all about, or what is the test case header which you are uh, just scripting, or what is the method which you are going to write. So all headings should be there using the uh, single line comment or multi-line comment, right? So in this, like, let's say I am trying to create an object, so I will write creating an object of class demo. So I can write like this. So when someone new who is looking into your program, if he or she reads that, he will understand that you are trying to create an object of class demo here, right? Similarly, for any complex logic or for any method, let's say if I am having this add method here, so what I will write, adding, creating a method to add to add n numbers. So likewise, I can give heading here. All right. Any confusion here?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. next one is modifiers. So modifiers basically are so we have discussed that in last class also. Disha, what was that modifier basically? What is the use of modifier?
Modifiers, access modifiers can give the permission to use the variables. Like if it has been declared publicly, you can use that in overall whole package or the class. Then there was private, protected, and default. Right?
Mhm. Okay.
A private you cannot use everywhere.
Mm. Okay, so modifiers basically can be used as an access modifiers. We call them modifiers or specifiers. So don't be confused with this terminology. Either we call them modifier or specifiers. So those are access specifiers also. They specify the access of a class, method, or a variable. So access modifiers can be used to define access control for classes, methods, and variables. Okay, so we have four access modifiers. First is public, second one is private, third one is protected, and the fourth one is default. Right? So let me just draw a diagram and then I will explain you. Okay, so we have four modifiers: private, default, protected, public. And from access point of view, we can access them within class, within package, outside package through interface, and outside of package there is no interface. Fine. So private, yeah. Any question in this, Disha or Sitara?
No.
Okay. So private can,
Sorry, I just have one question.
yeah.
Outside package, no interface, that through interface, that I didn't understand.
Yeah, so what happens, like when you have two packages, I'll explain you practically, Disha. So let's have a
Okay,
discussion
sure,
on
sure.
this first. So private access modifier can be used only within the class, right? Only within the class, whether it is a class or a variable or a method. Private access modifier cannot be used within a package, right? It cannot be used outside of package through inheritance also, and outside of the package without an inheritance also. Okay. Default can be used within a class and within a package. Outside package through inheritance, no. And outside of the package, no. Protected can be used within a class, yes. Within package, yes. Outside package, yes, through inheritance. And outside of the package without inheritance, it cannot be used. Okay. Public, for every access, it is yes. Okay, so that's the difference between all four modifiers. Now, let me take the example here. Let's say I am creating one class with private. Private. Then let me create one method as private. And one variable as private int a equal to 100. Why it is giving warning? Let me create new class. Class. Why this is disabled?
For me also, it was visible when I tried creating a new class.
Private class, is it okay for you?
No, that was not. That is what it was visible for me as well.
Okay, it is
Even
disabled.
for me as well, yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure if they have done some changes in Java 17. I'll have to check that. Okay, so let me try with protected first. No, protected are not allowed, right? Public, abstract, and final are permitted. Okay. So as in Disha, you were asking about this outside package through inheritance. Now what happens? Let's say I have one protected class here, right? Or a protected method or protected variable. Okay, outside package as in I will have to create another package here. So let's say I have another package here called advanced, right? So this is another package which is uh, not same as this package, and within this package I have, let's say I have some classes. Let's say advanced 1, advanced 2, advanced hyphen J2. So protected outside of main method, outside of package means it can be the methods variable and the classes can be accessed in another package through inheritance, right? So if I want to extend OD from here to here, I should extend that OD first, extends OD, and then I can use that protected. So OD was not
Don't we
identified.
need to import the package of OD?
Yeah, we'll have to import the package of OD.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to import, otherwise how the connection will
Correct. Yeah.
connection will be there. So once you import the package of OD, that imports basics OD, right? And then if you extend this class, you can use the protected modifier here. Not sure why it is not working in Java. Let me just try with Eclipse, another Eclipse I have. Okay, let's try having protected method here. Okay, got that. So guys, this is basic package, and within that package I have class demo, right? Public class demo, and within that I have this main method and one private method, right? I have another class called demo2, right? If I try to access this method from here, what I have to do, I have to create object of this class, demo d equal to new demo. I will have to extend that. Extend is not required. So with this, if I try to access the method which is private, it is not accessible.
Because it is private to only
Yes.
this class.
Yeah, this is private to this class only. Yeah, if I write demo d equal to new demo, d dot add, I can access here. Okay, so I can access private members only within the class. Or let's say I have one variable called private int equal to 100. When it is giving error, I cannot have private variable. Then final to not allow, leave it. Okay, so you just take the example of method only. So I have one private method I can access within this class, right? Even outside of the class I cannot access in another class of same package, right? So private can be accessed within the class. Outside of the class within package cannot be accessed. Outside of the package there is no question, and it cannot be accessed. And outside of the package with inheritance, without inheritance also it cannot be accessed. Okay, now coming to the default. Default as in if you are not declaring anything, right? We are declaring here explicitly, we are writing here private or public. If I don't write anything here, it will become default. Okay, now it can be accessed within this. Now it is not giving any error. So I can access this outside of the class in another class. Okay, if I try to access this demo here, let's say demo, I cannot access that. It is giving error here, right? So I mean, it is not identifying any sort of add method here. Making sense, guys? So
Yes.
default can be accessed within the class and within same package in another class. Outside package through inheritance you cannot access. Outside of the package there is no question itself. Now coming to protected, let's say I have one method here with protected variable, protected modifier. I can access with, I mean, let me just take the example in demo class also. So I can access here also without any problem within same class. In another class within same package, I can access d dot add. Okay, there's no problem accessing this outside of the within same package in another class. And this is demo d equal to new demo d dot extends demo Yeah, it's coming demo 2. Second demo 2 advanced. Protected void add here. Demo do equal to new demo. So restart the Eclipse, not sure why it is giving the error. Ideally protected member should be accessed outside of the package in another package using inheritance. So this is the ideal condition. Okay, I will have to check this, guys, why it is not working. Ideally, it should be, I should be able to access this method in this class. It's outside of the package in another package. I'll just make a note of that. I'll check and then I'll get back to you on this.
Okay.
Okay. So public is accessible from anywhere to anywhere. Okay, that's within class, within package, outside package through inheritance, outside package without inheritance. Yeah. So so public as in this specifier or this modifier is accessible everywhere. Private is accessible only within class. only within the class. Default, if we don't specify any modifier, then it is treated as default, right? Protected. So this is accessible only within package and outside of package through inheritance. All right. So this table is quite useful, right? So along with the notes, I'll share this table, and you can just, for your reference, you can just draw that, right? So an interview, they do ask about the protected, where all it is accessible. What's the difference between default and protected? So so the default as in it is accessible within package only, but protected can be accessed outside package using inheritance also. So that's the difference. Okay. So private and public are quite straightforward. Private as in private only within class. Public as in public can be accessed from anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, Lisa.
Okay,
Yes,
so I'll just come back to you on protected. Need to check why numbers are not accessible. Outside of package. All right, so next one will be data types. Okay, before data type, we'll just discuss on non-access modifiers also. So as in Java supports 46 non-access modifiers. So if I write here non-access modifiers, is having only list of 6. So let's discuss about non-access modifiers. The first one was static. We had a discussion about static earlier also. So static modifier, as in if you are while declaring a method or while declaring a class or while declaring a variable, if you are not specifying anything, it will become non-static. And if we want to declare a static member explicitly, we need to write a static here. So along with method name, I will have to write public static void method name. Or along with variable, I will have to write static int a equal to 100. Let me close this class. Protected static. Or I can write here static int equal to 5. Okay, so static modifiers is used for classes, methods, and variables for accessing or calling a object without creating instance of the class. Making sense, guys, this line?
Yes.
Yeah. So when we declare any method with static keyword, or when we declare any variable with static keyword, we can access them using directly using class name. We don't have to write any, we don't have to create any object. So they will become the member of the class. Right. So I can, since this is a static method, I can either I can access directly or using class name also. So demo.add also is fine. And demo.a, that also is fine. I can access that directly. So I mean, I can print this because where exactly you are storing this. What is happening? So space println demo dot a. So this is perfectly fine. If I call that using class name, this is also perfectly fine. If I call that using class name, this method. If I make this non-static, then it will give you error. Okay, so I will have to create object, then only I can access this. So static members will become the member of the class.
Just one question. So I cannot print A directly. Like I need to give the class name and then dot whatever variables which are there in static.
No, you can print directly also.
Directly also, right?
Directly
Okay,
also. Yeah.
that's what. Yeah.
You
Okay,
can print directly also using class name also.
Class name as well. Okay. Fine.
The next one is final non-access specifier. So final non-access specifier is used for classes, methods, and variables, right? And if you are using this with variable, you need to initialize that variable. Then only you can use final variable, final keyword. As in, let's say I want to make one class final. What will happen if I make the class final? Any idea, guys?
Final, as in you said, it will become default or something. No.
No, if I declare a class as final, I cannot extend this class.
It remains constant.
Constant,
For
yeah.
variable.
No, for variable it will become constant, but if I declare class as final, I cannot extend this class. If I try to extend this class in another class, extend demo, it will give you error here. The type demo2 cannot be subclass of the final class demo.
Okay.
Okay, so I am declaring this with final keyword here. If I remove this, this is perfectly fine. I can extend this class.
Accessible. Yeah.
Yeah. So if a class is a final class, I cannot extend that. If a method is a final method, I'll just make this public, then I cannot override this method. Okay, so if I try to override this method, public void add CISO, what is happening with my CISO? Overridden method. So I cannot override this method. It will give you an error here. This instance method cannot override a static method from demo. Let's remove static. Multiple markers at this line cannot override a final method from demo. See this line. Okay, so if a method is declared as final method, you cannot override that method. We'll understand override in coming sessions, guys. So that comes under polymorphism.
Okay.
Okay, so if a method is declared as final keyword, it cannot be overridden. Finally, is used for classes, methods, and variable. If class is declared as final class, it cannot be extended or inherited. If a method is as final method, it cannot be overridden. If a variable is declared as final variable, it cannot be changed. Okay, and when you are declaring any variable is final, you need to initialize that variable at that time only. So let's say I have, let me remove final from here. So if I write final int a equal to 90, it's fine. If I write final int b equal to b only v, and then if I initialize then that, it is a problem.
You said if we initialize it, it is okay, right? I mean, final int b, we have entered the value for b. That is fine, right?
One thing, it was not allowed earlier. Let me check if it is allowed in this Java. If I print the value of b, I think latest Java version supports this. So if we declare it first and then initialize, it works fine. And if I reassign the value of b, it should not work. Yeah. So this multi-line declaration and then initialization is fine. Okay, so please ignore my previous statement. So we can first declare and then initialize. That also works fine for final. Is it making sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if a class is declared as final, it cannot be extended or inherited. If a method is declared as final, it cannot be overridden. If a variable is declared as final, it cannot be changed. So here final int x equal to 100 is correct. It's correct. And then x equal to 10. Incorrect. Final int y and y equal to 10. Both are correct. Okay. Next important non-access modifier is abstract. So similar to interface, we have that's not exactly similar to interface, but we can have abstract classes also. So instead of this, let me create one abstract class. Then basics package. Create one class with abstract. So let me maybe ABS abstract class. So if I create any abstract class after this specifier, another keyword with abstract will appear here. So this is an abstract class. And what is the property of this abstract class is I can have abstract as well as non-abstract method here. So public void add or public void sum. Okay, so in a journal class we should have all the methods declared as well as body also. But in abstract class I can have a method a declared method also and a method with the body also. And we have seen interfaces also, and where in interfaces we can have only the method declaration. There are no method body. So that's the difference between a normal class and an abstract class, and between the abstract class and an interface.
So in normal class, we should have a body as well as the
Method declaration and
method
body.
declaration and body. Then in interfaces, just a declaration of the method, and in abstract, both, right?
Yeah, both.
Declaration as
Yeah,
well
yeah,
as.
both. So abstract
Okay,
class,
yeah.
in abstract class we can have all the methods declared and all the methods can have body also. So that is also
Body
fine.
also. Okay.
So that is also fine. If I remove this, then this is also fine. It can be again a valid class. So I can have all the methods which are having declaration as well as body. But I cannot have all the methods which are having only body here, only declaration here. So that will give you error. So this is not abstract class. I should have at least one method with declaration and body.
Okay.
Making sense? So normal class should have all the method, declaration and body. and body. Interface can have only method declaration. But abstract class should have at least one method with body, and remaining can be concrete and non-concrete methods. Yeah, so I cannot have uh, a method without a body in abstract class if there is only one method. If there is a one method, then that method should have a body. Okay. Through interfaces, we achieve 100% abstraction. Interface, we achieve 100% abstraction. Since all the methods are having declaration only, there are no method body. Okay, so this is another non-access specifier. Uh, so I'll just, so can you check, guys, what is the use of interface and abstraction? Why we have such kind of arrangement in Java, wherein we have normal class which is having method declaration and method body, but interface is having only method declaration, no method body. We have another mechanism where I can have combination of both method declaration with method body and methods without declaration, without body also. So can you please check? That's your assignment. Please check and come back to me by tomorrow. What is the logic behind this?
Okay, sure.
So with this, all important non-access specifiers are done, right? As we will progress further, there will be other non-access specifiers also, so we'll explain that time on. Now coming to data type, I need to finish data type by today. So how much time is remaining for this class? Any doubts so far in this modifiers, non-access modifiers, comments?
No,
No.
just on access modifiers, hands-on is required for us to understand in depth, like to remember the things clearly.
Yeah, I mean, once you start practicing this, Disha, you
Yeah,
will understand
yeah.
that. Usually
Correct,
we
correct,
use
yes.
protected and public.
Public,
Yeah, privates are hardly used, right?
and we
So
use static as well, yeah.
yeah, so
Sometimes.
that's just used in singleton design pattern.
Okay.
Singleton design pattern. So I mean, even we will not use private access specifier during our Selenium. We mostly use public and protected. And the only difference with public and protected is protected cannot be accessed outside of package if there is no inheritance, and public can be used access from anywhere.
Yeah, correct, correct.
Correct. So we'll start with data type first, and then lot of data types, so I need to finish that today. So guys, data type, I mean, we discussed earlier also, that's a classification of type of data that a variable or constant or method can hold in computer programming. So data type is a classification of type of data that a variable or method or constant old in computer programming. Just programming. Right. So we have just for an example, character. Character is a data type which classify the character type of data. Right. Numbers as an integer or float, which specifies the number type of data. So number without decimal and number with decimal. So number with decimal specifies the float type of data. I mean, as in float specifies the number with decimal type of data. Similarly, we have strings, string data type, which specifies like there are a sequence of characters. Right. We have date type of date data type. Then we have currency, which specifies there is some currency or something. Okay. Now Java supports explicit declaration of data type. So explicit declaration, as in we discussed earlier also. So we need to declare a type of data first, and then only it can be used. Right. So and any further discussion required on explicit type, or it's pretty clear?
Clear to me.
What about you, Disha?
Yeah, same here, same.
Okay,
It's
fine.
clear.
Now the syntax. What syntax we have for declaring for having a data type? Now for variable, there are 4 syntaxes. We can have data type name, then variable name. That is number 1. We can have data type, variable name equal to value. Number 2, we can have data type, variable 1, variable 2, variable 3, and on the similar arrangement we can have data type variable 1 with value, variable 2 with value, or variable 3 with value. Okay, so these are the 4 syntaxes which Java allows.
Yeah, clear with it.
Okay, next is constant. Constants, as in we have constants also, like final int b equal to 20. For constants also we need to have data type, right? The only difference between constants and a variable here is the value of variable can be changed, but the value of constant cannot be changed. Correct. Next is method. While declaring a method also, we specify a data type, like public. Instead of void, if I write public int add, then if I pass the parameter here or don't pass the parameter here, what it will return? It will return the sum of, let's say it will return sum. I want to have the sum of 2 value, it will be equal to 20. Then int c equal to a plus b, return c. So it is returning the integer type value. This method is returning integer type value. So that's how we specify method with a data type. instead of this, I can have a string also. So let's say I have, let me just take the example on Eclipse. So public string add, right? So let's say string a equal to Java, string b equal to Selenium. I want something called string c equal to a plus b, right? Return c. Right? I am just calling this method here. Let me make this static. So I can call this directly or with class name dot add, right, which is returning string type, string sum. And now I am just printing sum here. To Java Selenium. So a method can also return a string type of value. Making sense, guys? Yeah.
Yes.
So a method can return an integer type value, method can return a string type of value, character type. I mean, all the data types are equally applicable for methods also, as those are applicable for variable or those are applicable for constant. Now we have two categories of data type. First is primitive data type. Second is non-primitive data type. So because of non-primitive data type only, Java is not a pure object-oriented programming language. So they may ask you at the time of interview, why, let me know if the Java is pure object-oriented programming language or not. Since we have, we use non-primitive, I mean as primitive data types. So because of that, Java is not a pure object-oriented programming language. So in primitive data types, we have uh, 8 type of data types in primitive basically. So primitive data type, there are 8 data types basically. The first is, or will it start, this session is going to finish in another 15 seconds. So guys, let's join at 12:40 now. We'll take a break of 5 minutes and then we will rejoin.
Okay.
Okay. Start recording. Share the screen. So we have 2 categories of data type. The first one is primitive data type, wherein we have 8 data types under this category, and the another one is non-primitive data type. So strings array comes under this. Okay. So why Java is not a pure object-oriented programming language? Not a pure object-oriented programming language. because of the existence of primitive data type. Okay, first one is byte here. Second is int. Third is before int we have short. Fourth is long. Okay. So size of byte is 8-bit. And these 4 data types can hold the integer type of value. Following 4 data types can hold integer type of value. So the size of this is from -128 to -127. So as in 2 to the power -2 to the power 7 to 2 to the power 7 minus 1, right? Since the size of this is
minus 128 to 127, right?
yeah, sorry. Well, that's typo, yeah. So the last one bit is reserved, right? So it cannot be used. If I declare a byte data type with 128, it will give you a warning. So if I declare byte with byte p equal to 128, it will give you an error here that it cannot hold 128. As in you need to change from byte to int or any higher type of data type. Okay. And how it is coming, like you are aware about the hexadecimal pattern, right? So it starts with 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2. So how the size is coming, you are aware of that, right? Disha or Sitara?
Not sure.
Not sure. Okay. So let's say this is the size 8-bit, right? So 8-bit as in 2 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8. So it starts with 2 to the power 0, right? 2 to the power 0 as in 1. 2 to the power 1 as in 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you
Yeah.
calculate everything, it will come as 128. 1 plus
Correct.
2 plus 3,
Right, yes.
4 plus, oh, sorry, 1, not 1, 2, 3. Let me take the calculator. So 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16 plus 32 plus up to 2 to the power 7. So it comes as 127. So 2 to the power 0 is again 2, right? That is considered as 2, 1 only. So it will come as 128, minus 128 to 127.
Yep, understood.
Yeah, understood. Yeah.
So on similar pattern, short is of 16-bit, right? So size of this will be minus 2 to the power 16 to 2 to the power 16 minus 1. And in numbers, it will come, we'll have to check on Google. So size of short in data type in Java. So it starts from minus 32768 till 32767. All right. and then size of int is 32 bit. 32 bit. And this is from minus 2 to the power 32 to 2 to the power 32 minus 1. Right? And if you Google it, size of integer type of data, it's huge. See, this is the size of integer data type 21474836482 647. So that's a huge range we have for integer type of data. Float long is of 64 bit. So accordingly, the size of long would be more than int. Okay. The next one are the relational data type, or the data type which can hold decimal values. So we have first is float and second is double. Right, they can hold a decimal value. Size of float is 32 bit and size of double is 64 bit. So while declaring float, we use float f equal to 10.73 f. While declaring double, we don't have to use d or anything. So just 15.78. Okay, in real programming, we use mostly int, and from this family we use double. So those are the most commonly used data type. Okay. The seventh one is
Sure.
character data type. Right. So that starts with char or any variable name, and then in single quotes we input anything. It could be a character, it could be a digit number, it could be a special character. So whatever is enclosed in single quote is considered as character data type. It could be a or it could be char y equal to 1, or it could be char z equal to, let's say, ampersand. So it could be anything. So everything will be considered as character data type. Right. The next one is Boolean data type of data type, wherein we have only two values, true and false. So Boolean b equal to true or false. All right. So this is all the primitive data types: byte, short, int, long, float, double, char, Boolean. The non-primitive data types are of two types: string and arrays and strings. So the syntax for string is string name equal to value. Right. Everything which is within double quotes are considered as a string. It could be a combination of number with character. It could be combination of number, character, special character. It could be only special characters. All are allowed in Java, and whatever is enclosed within double quotes will be considered as a string. So ABC 1 2 3 is a string. If I write only 1, 2, 3, it will become integer. If I write with 1, 2, 3 within double quotes, it will become a string. So if I write one in without any double quote or single quote, it will become integer. If I write one within single quotes, it will become character. So that's how it is differentiated in Java.
Just one small question. If
Yeah.
we are pulling some value from any file, okay, and passing it,
Mhm.
okay, and if it is integer, then and I have declared that variable as a string in the program, then will it take it as string or as an integer only?
So if there is a value in program, I mean, for that you will have to do a data conversion, Disha. So I was coming to that point. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay. So sometimes what happen, let's say in your data file or in your test data file,
Yeah, suppose
there
there is an
there's
Excel
some
file.
field with integer value, but those are within double quotes, right? There might be some other instances also. So you are having integer value which are enclosed in double quotes, right?
Okay.
Right. So since this is an integer value and you need to convert that into integer type while doing some operations in your program, or when for some mathematical calculation or something, you will have to use you will have to use an integer only. So for that, data conversion is required, right? So converting data or data conversion, why it is required and when we do need that. Converting data or data conversion, right? So it starts with assigning values to variable. So when I initialize any variable, right, no data conversion is required. As in, whenever I am initializing a variable with, let's say, with int a equal to 10, no data conversion is required, right? Or if I write anything within double quotes here, let's say 10, the compiler will give you error right there, that this is holding uh, this is a is holding string type of data, but you are declaring it as int. So while initializing, no data conversion is required. Sitara, making sense for you?
Yes, understand.
Yeah. While reading a data from any external source, the data conversion is required. Might be required, as in it's not compulsory, it is required, but it might be required. Right. So reading, as in whenever we are reading data from input devices, reading input or data from input devices. Right. Reading data from files like text file or Excel file, or maybe from some databases, right? Reading data from application object in while doing the automation from application object. Fine. When data conversion is required. So why did, I mean, as in, this is the mechanism. I mean, this is the way. I mean, we can input the. I mean, we can read the data from external devices, and we might need to convert the data. So whenever we read data, then computer program consider that as string type data. Data as string type of data. So we need to convert that data in order to perform mathematical operations. Okay. Now let's say there is a phone number. Let me take my number, 537904660. So when computer program read this data from a external source, it will consider, the computer program will consider this as string type data only. Okay. Now I will have to convert this data into the integer so that I can perform some operations on this program, on this data. If there is a data for customer name, let's say ABC. So again, when a computer program read this data from external source, it will be considered as a string type of data. But since this is a customer name, so no conversion is required here. You can perform the further operations directly on this customer.
Okay, so anything that is found from, pulled from the external sources, it considers as string type data.
String type only, yeah. Or there could be another example. Let's say I have some floating or double type of data, right, which is again will come as a string only, but I will have to convert this into double, right? So
Yeah.
I will have to convert this into double. So there could be three variations here. If number is integer number, if number is float number, or if number is as in exactly a sequence of character where is no conversion is required. So here conversion is required from string to integer. Here conversion is required from string to double. Here no conversion is required. So for converting data, we have some built-in methods already there. So during data-driven testing, we use those built-in methods for converting data. Built-in methods are there in Java. Methods are already available that we use while doing data-driven testing. Okay.
One small question here. So,
yeah,
as we say, whenever we read data, then computer program consider that as a string type of data, right?
yeah.
So, suppose in Excel file there is a field which is given as 123 without double quotes. Okay, and while fetching that in a program, I mean during automation, will it consider as a string or as an integer?
So that will be considered as a string only.
If not in double quotes.
It's not in double quotes. I mean, you don't put double quotes in Excel file. So let's say you write the salary of a person, you don't put double quotes there, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
In Excel file, it will be just 123.
Just 123, yeah. But when you read that data from Excel file into a program, it will be considered as a string only. Okay, that's
so
what
we need to convert that
we need to
integer.
convert. Yeah, we need to convert that integer.
Otherwise, it will throw not exception.
You cannot proceed with the program if
Proceed with
it is
the program,
coming as an integer, and if you are performing some mathematical operation on integer, it won't work, right? Or it may not give you desired output.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So we'll see on this built-in methods tomorrow, guys. Okay, so we can just cast this, right, to integer or double, and then it will be okay. You can use that. So we'll see that tomorrow, right? So I will just stop share and then stop the recording.